Hey, free bee. Hey, love. Happy Women's Month. But I want to come and talk to something. This is gonna be for all people, but I'm just gonna speak specifically to women. And I want to talk about goals and accomplishing our goals, right? And especially since we are in this month of celebrating ourselves and women and just all the contributions that we are making in our own lives, in the world, our communities, I want to talk about why it's important that you fall madly in love with your goals. Okay? So, I work with a lot of women. And one of the things I always like to ask them when working with them is, what is your goal? What is it that you are looking to accomplish in working with me? What is it that you are looking to, get? And I've done this before too, not necessarily knowing how to articulate what it is that we want. And it's not that we don't know what we want, because we do. What happens, and has happened a lot, and I've experienced this too, is a lot of times we do not believe that we are worthy of our goals. So we're going to call this Worthy Woman Wednesday, okay? Worthy Woman Wednesday today. So we don't think we're worthy of our goals. And there's many different reasons why we may feel that way or believe that, conditioning, programming, so many different programs have been instilled in us to believe that, one, A, we're not worthy, and two, we may be incapable of completing something, right? Or getting there. There's so many different barriers to the things that we may want to create. And those are very real. Those are very real. I'm not going to play and say those are not real things. Oh, y'all, I'm burning my hair over here. Anyway, so this is what I want to talk about to us today, about the importance of falling in love with your goals and knowing that nobody is going to come save you. There is no white cape. There is no knight in shining armor. There is nobody. And I think the toughest things, at least for me, even for myself too, I'm including myself in this because I've been here and I still have areas where I have to work through this, is realizing that nobody is responsible for us. And that kind of goes against everything that we've been taught in patriarchy, because everything we've been taught in patriarchy in our societies, particularly here if we're in the Americas, right? I'm in the United States, right? Is that you are property. You are owned by, if not by your father, then by, some other type of man, your partner, your husband, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Even if you're not in a heterosexual relationship, there's always some type of connection of being owned by a man, whether that's your employer, et cetera, et cetera. And what tends to happen a lot of times, is that we are trying to outsource our happiness. We are trying to outsource our responsibilities for self. We are trying to outsource love, support of our goals, right? And what happens when you try to outsource, and I'm not saying asking for help. Asking for help is one thing, but seeking outside yourself for the responsibility, for financial support, for these different areas of life that we are truly responsible for and have always been responsible for, but didn't always have the means to take responsibility for, right? Those are where we have to go back in. Your goals are yours. And if you are not fired up by your goals, if you do not feel the excitement and the external expression to go forward for it, I would beg you to seek within yourself. And it's saying, well, do you even believe that you are worthy of such a thing? And I see this happen in the corporate world. So let me go to the corporate world. When I learned early on that I could negotiate a salary, sis has been negotiating salaries, benefits, all that stuff, right? That is something that I have been doing and I continuously doing since my first real manager job. I got my first real manager job when I was 21, 22. I just graduated from college and I had got a job at Wet Seal. And I can remember when I applied to the job, I really just applied to be a sales associate because I wasn't thinking about management. I just graduated from college and Just wanted something to do because I knew that grace period was about to end in a few months. So like, I need to find a little job because ain't nothing in my field that's hiring me. Because everybody wanted like master's degree or 5 years experience, and homegirl ain't had neither. But anyway, so I can remember when I first got the job or applied, and the manager at the time was like, I would really love it to you be a manager. And she saw that in me being a manager. And so she, asked me to apply as manager. So I did, got the job as a manager. And I can remember when she had presented to me the salary for the position, I told her I wasn't going to work. I need something more than that. And I didn't get the number that I asked, but I did get what I negotiated. And I took that process with me everywhere. Now, at that time, I didn't necessarily believe that I deserved the amount that I was asking for. I was just testing this out to see if it works, because I can remember seeing it on like different like career blogs and stuff like that, things like that. But I was testing it out. Now, a reason why I'm telling you that story is because you're going to have to test out yourself to prove you are worthy to yourself. You are going to have to test yourself out. Put yourself out there and test it. If you believe that your goal is worth having, you got to support yourself and not expect others to support you. If you believe that your goals are worth accomplishing, you got to be the one to give yourself the emotional support, the love, the care, the tenderness, the nurturance to get said goals done, and not expect your partners, your family members, friends. And I know that sounds like, but these are people who love me, should support me. You know what? Nobody owes us anything. That's the tough pill that we're going to have to, the tough pill of realization and self-awareness that we're going to have to come to, that nobody owes us anything, but you owe it to yourself. Your biggest supporter, your biggest love person, your biggest responsibility person is always going to be you. So take onus of that. And that is actually more empowering and freeing when you realize that it all goes back to self. When I wake up within myself and I'm fired up for life, fired up for my goals, fired up with my ambition and all these other things, that takes the reins back into yourself. This is giving me somebody out there, I don't know who you are, somebody out there has been pulling the Chariot card in their tarot deck, and you are feeling stuck in that Chariot card. What that card is saying to you, as you see the Chariot holder is holding the reins of the two Sphinx, it is saying that you are the driver in your life. So despite what you may have experienced, because let me tell you, a lot of times when we deal with worthiness, it's some type of trauma that we've been experienced, right? And you didn't deserve that trauma. You didn't deserve that. You did not deserve it, okay? Hold yourself in that. You didn't deserve it. But you do have the reins to now lead yourself into where you want to go in life. And you have the reins to now drive where your life will go from this day forward. So you are worthy to drive this chariot because the reins are in your hands. Okay? So fall in love with your goals, fall in love with yourself, and stand affirmed that you shall have whatever you think that you deserve. And even if you don't think you deserve it, you think you do, but you don't fully feel it yet, fake it until you feel it. I did it. I told you a story. When I first got into college, I didn't really think I deserved the salary I was asking for, but I negotiated. Regardless, I negotiated and still didn't get the amount I wanted, but I didn't allow that to stop me. So from every job after that, I've always did, and I stood firm, and it got better and better every time, to the point where I own what it is that I put out. You can do that for yourself too. So true. I love what you said about not expecting your partner should be there. That mentality is one from the patriarchy. Wow. With this way of thinking, it releases the resentment from partners. Thank you. That is so true. Let me tell you something. Ooh, when it comes to relationships, right? Hold on to your reins, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to this one. Your partner's not obligated to do anything for you. Your partner is not your happiness source. Your partner is not your love source. Your partner is not even your financial support source. I'm stepping on toes here. Because your partner is there for you. You chose that person for a specific reason. And we have to check within our own selves on why we even seeking partners. Because a lot of us are seeking partners out of programming. It's not even something that we may consciously even realize that we're doing. I'll speak about myself again. Story time. I had to come to the wholeness and realization that when I was seeking out my marriage partner, well, ex-marriage partner at the time, I was seeking somebody to validate my existence. Because of my upbringing, women were only proper if they were married. And because I had a child before marriage, I was walking in that program that I was a sinful person and I needed to be justified. I needed to be, redeemed. That's the word, not justified, redeemed from my sinfulness, right? And so therefore I seeked out my partner that way. And it didn't do anything but throw my whole life in shambles. So because the intention wasn't coming from a true, authentic space of what I truly wanted and desired for myself, it was coming from a space of feeling like I didn't deserve worthy. I was unworthy for love. I was unworthy for commitment. I was unworthy to be with a person who genuinely liked me. Because I attracted a person who genuinely, not say they didn't like me, but they genuinely did. They tolerated me. And you, one thing you don't want to do, don't be tolerated, honey. You don't want to be tolerated. You want somebody who has a full body orgasmic, yes, I want to be with you. All right. So with that being in mind, have the onus of owning your worthiness and who you are. So when you start to attract people and whoever you say yes to, you're saying yes to someone who's already happy, who's already responsible, who's already living out in their goals. And all you guys are doing is walking together because we want to see each other both get our goals accomplished. And there's most likely us being together expands us already. We're already walking in our purpose, but together we just magnify each other's expansion. Okay. I'm not trying to give relationship advice, but I want to give just a different perspective to this conversation and to my women in this Women's Month and this Women's Wednesday, so that we can have not just better goals and better ways of accomplishing our goals, better relationships, better friendships, right? Better co-worker dynamics, better work relationships, better businesses, whatever it is that you want the better and you deserve it too, sis. It makes us settle for less than what we deserve. That part right there. Well, I have to get ready to go, ladies and gents. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys know where you can find me all the time. Make sure you guys follow me on my YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's what we be. But I pop up every now and then. I love y'all. This is your girl, Tahiri Divine. I have some really great programs coming for you guys in the spring. So please make sure that you are on my newsletter. Go to tahiridivine.com. A little Dropbox will ask you to join my newsletter. Join it and you will get the behind the scenes stuff, information, what's going on with me and what some things I'm putting out there for you all. All right. Until next time, peace, love.
Was I married 4 times? Yes, I was. I confess I was married I confess I was married 4 times. And the reason I'm smiling is because I spent a lot of time giving the men involved in some of these relationships a very bad reputation. I'm not saying that I ever said anything that wasn't true. It was all true. Except that the reason that this one human being kept choosing selection poor, not able to evaluate whether this should be a friendship or this should be a marriage. I wanted to be married. And so when the opportunity was there to do so, I did it. I had not lived alone. Quite frankly, I didn't know how to do that. I'm not sure that I know how to do it today. But I did think that it was time for me to stop and try to answer these questions for myself. I decided to come back to Los Angeles and learn to live alone. I said I will learn about me, not the role I play. And it's difficult to learn to live alone. It's difficult because I'm difficult. I'm not easy to live with. You have 3 or 4 choices here that will give you a terrible day or a wonderful day. And there's no one else to blame except you. Because you're here alone. You can't say he did this or he did that. It's all you. And you don't seem to want to make yourself extremely happy the way you wanted other people to come along to make you extremely happy. Nobody can make you extremely happy but you. I was an old lady before I understood that.